Hi, I'm Ben, and this is my video. As you can see, I'm not sitting in my chair because my desk is really full of stuff and I don't feel like moving and all of that. But here I am. I am going to review the part 2 of Masters of the Universe Revelations. Oh boy, now this show has been... Now, for those of you who haven't seen my other videos, or you have, as probably you know, the show has been getting a lot of flack. The first part, because it was all like, oh, this won't. Kevin Smith, the producer, creator of the show, was like, oh no, it's gonna be about He-Man. But they heard, oh, it's gonna be about Teela and this, and they're gonna kill off He-Man. But it's like, nope. And then it came up, and it's like, all right. And it's like, here it is, Teela, and here it is. And it was like, this is the Teela show. No, we're angry. I can understand you were a bit upset, but I don't know. But guess what? In part 2, we got to see He-Man. There's a scene where Teela brings back... Because if you remember part 2, it ends with... Skeletor like, I am the master of the universe. And he has all this power. But then He-Man... But then Teela brings back Prince Adam. And then there's this cool... And then he brings him to life. And then at the end of this episode, they bring back Teela, and at the they bring back Teela uses her power to bring back Adam, and Adam was like, "Yay, Adam's back!" But then they were like, "We gotta get out here," so they use magic to teleport. Instead of teleport themselves out here, instead of men in arms, and then they teleported to the castle, the other castle where Prince Adam's live, and there's these two guards who are really cool, and then they're like, "Who are you?" And then Cringer was like, "Don't you recognize her? It's Teela. Teela, hey." Hey, but we don't know this woman. But then Prince Adam was like, "Hey, do you know who I am?" I was like, "It's Prince Adam. What kind of sorcery is this?" No sorcery. Well, there is, but it's a long story. But Prince Adam is back, and like, yay! Also, I like these two guards they kind of introduced. They were really nice, and they really cared, and they actually helped get Teela inside, and actually helped Teela, Prince Adam, and get them inside, and that was pretty awesome. But then He-Man was like, "I'm gonna save the day." But then like Skeletor's power was taking over the castle and turns these two cool guards into like evil power monsters. And then the whole town into big zombie monsters. And they were like, "Rawr." And it's like, "Oh no, we gotta get inside." And they're like, "Oh no, they're monsters." And they were like, "Forgive me." And then they killed those two guards. And I like how, like, even though they killed Teela and her friend killed them, they were like, "Forgive me." And they were nice about it, and they felt really bad. That was kind of sweet. But still, but then Skeletor gets in their castle, and then Prince Adam was like the sword was just a vessel. The sword was just a rod or something. I always have the power. By the power of Grayskull. And he turns into this big hulking caveman He-Man guy. He-Man. And then fights Skeletor. And it's like, yeah, He-Man. And then they leave. And then they leave. And then He-Man leaves the other play. But then after they fight He-Man, He-Man fights big He-Man fights big Skeletor. They're like, boom, boom, boom. Skeletor teleports out of here. Skeletor teleports. I mean, He-Man, man, because they were like, he's gonna destroy the kingdom. We gotta get out of here. So then Teela, Cringer, and I forget the other friend's name, but Teela and Teela's friend and Cringer teleport them out of there, and then they're in this place. But then there's this sweet part where He-Man goes to this castle, or this base where the king, Prince Adam's dad, is, and Adam was like, and then they changed Monster He-Man, and they were like, but then the king came in and he was like, "My son, it's you. I'm sorry I doubted you. I am so proud of you, my son." And then Monster He-Man was gonna attack him, but then the king bravely hugged him, and then he remember who he is, and then they're like, my son. So then the next, and I'm like, oh, that's sweet. But then the next episode, so the queen came back and was like, Adam, and they were happy to see each other. They hugged, but apparently the parents had a falling out because remember in the last part one, He-Man was like, the mother knew Prince Adam was He-Man, but she didn't tell no the king. But then they were like the king. But then the king was angry at each other, so they were pretty distant towards each other. So they're upset. But Prince Adam is back, and then they're gonna, and then they try to think of plans to defeat Skeletor. But back at Skeletor's place, Eva Lynn went through some characters, and then we got to know her backstory. Apparently, Eva Lynn, when she was a child, her parents tried to eat her. Ew. But then she escaped, and for 25 years, when she was adult, she tried to steal just to survive. But then but then Skeletor came and rescued her and put her as her sorceress as Eva Lynn. So then Eva Lynn take over the world. So then Eva Lynn, oh yeah. So then Eva Lynn became her sorcerer, and then she tricked Skeletor and let him turn off the power. Then stole the sword, but then tried to get romance with him, and Eva Lynn kissed Skeletor, and I was like, ew, he's a skeleton face man, ew. But yeah, so Eva Lynn tried to steal back the power and then grab the power, and she's like, by the power of Grayskull, and she became this muscular beast, and they're like, I'm back, I'm ruler of this. So yeah, Eva Lynn becomes the villain of this picture. But then Skeletor teleports out of here, and then he goes to Prince Adam and the gang, and it's like, I think we have some things. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So yeah, Skeletor teams up with Prince Adam, his arch nemesis, to defeat Eva Lynn. Wow. So then when Eva Lynn tries, so then Prince Adam tries to hatch a plan, and they go to the castle, and then Teela and her friends. I feel bad that I forgot her name, but I don't really have time to look up it now. But Teela and her friends sneak into the castle, and then Prince Adam and Skeletor tries to fight Eva Lynn, and she uses her power. But then there's this part where Teela fights this evil creatures, and then Man-at-Arm comes into the picture, and he's like, I'm okay, and it's like, Man-at-Arms, yay! Also, sorry, another thing to bring up. She founds her mom. Teela discovers that her mom is the sorceress, the bird lady, and then she was like, yay! But then, and then there's some big parts where she has a sweet part with her mom, and yeah, I like the animation. Like every scene, I love the animation, like the action, the suspense, and and but there's also this funny part that I want to point out. There's these two other monsters, and they're like, oh, getting the bottom of the barrel here. There's this other mother I forgot, but there's this other creature called Pig Boy. Pig Boy. I know who Pig Boy is, because I watched this video by Cineflex on YouTube, and they said 7 things you didn't know about the live-action Masters of the Universe movie. And there's this little boy that won a contest to have a scene in Masters of the Universe, but since all the scenes were filmed in the city place, they had the scene they filmed with Pig Boy. They dressed up the little boy who won the contest as a pig, and then dressed him and then label him as Pig Boy. So they literally put Pig Boy, and I read the credits. Pig Boy here is voiced by Kevin Smith, like he voices Pig Boy. I just find that hilarious. Well, anyways, so they fight those other creatures, and then and then Tila has a sweet conversation with her mom, and she's like, I had to leave you because I had to discover things and do all this power stuff, and I has to sacrifice and I has to sacrifice for this to be the sorceress. I had to let go of other things. And like, you had to let go of me? And I understand how frustrated Tila gets. Like, there are times when I get frustrated with her, but then I understand, like, yeah, I guess I can understand where she's coming from. No more secrets. But then she gets the power, but then as for He-Man, but then back at the outside of Grayskull, all the armies came together, including bee creatures. I like those bee creatures kind of look kind of cute. Like there's these big bee creatures, and they look really cute, and they look really awesome, like cute and awesome. And but then they all fight together as one, and there's also a scene. Sorry if my review thing is not that focused, but anyways, there's a thing where Orko comes back, and I'm like, yay, Orko, hooray! And then he's like, I'm here to help. Take that. And there's this other guy who's like a glow-in-the-dark Skeletor, but he's not Skeletor. And then they fight, and then they take him down. But then Skeletor, and as for Skeletor and Prince Adam, they fight Evelyn, but finally grabbed the sword, and he's like, by the power of Grayskull! And he gets the power, Battlecat, Cringer gets his power, and then even Skeletor is like, what? But why? To show you how good it is to help others. That's nice of He-Man. But here's something I want to point out. Skeletor is kind of funny in this. Like he acts weird and he doesn't take nonsense, and he's like, what? What is this? And he's just really funny, and Mark Hamill brings a lot of fun to it. But anyways, so they defeated So then Skeletor and He-Man team up and defeat Evelyn, but then try to fight Evelyn. But then what comes into the picture? Teela with her power, and you think it's all over for He-Man and Skeletor. But then Teela takes down Evelyn, or Darklyn as she's called in this form, and then Skeletor is like, I'm finally gonna defeat He-Man, and then He-Man was like, no! So yeah, he's back to being evil. And then he's gonna be like, take that! And then they fight him, but then Ram Man comes into the picture. Yeah, that character. And then tries to help out and fight Skeletor. And then Evelyn and then Teela takes her to a place of magic. So Teela kind of reasons with Evelyn and tries to understand, you were always a good person, and then finds a way to turn her from bad to good. And then she turns good, but then Skeletor comes into the picture and is like, and then He-Man finally defeats Skeletor, and there's a really awesome scene where they're all fighting together. It's like sword, and it's really awesome. But as for that, Teela comes into the picture, but then Teela comes into the picture, and then Evelyn is good now, so she's just Lin, or Darklyn, but now just Lin. So everyone goes back to the afterlife, even including Orko. Is like, no, Orko, I didn't mean you. And then it's like, oh, bye, Orko, I love you. But then Lin grabs Orko. It's like, no, not today. You're not going anywhere. And I'm like, yay! But then after that, all the bad guys get defeated, and Skeletor gets defeated, and then they're all fireworks, and they go back to the good castle. Eternia, or is Eternia the planet? But they go back to the castle, and not Grayskull, the other castle. So then they're like, family could be everyone. It could be blood or people you're really connected to. And here we have a new soldier. her name. This is our new man at arms, and it's Tila's friend. She's the new man at arms, and good for her. And then she was like, but then she defeated the. But then Len talked to He-Man, and everyone's united, and the dad and mom apologized to each other, and they're good now. And then there's fireworks, and then Prince Adam and Tila's like, "Are you ready to keep the secrets of Castle Grayskull with me?" I was like, "No, I'm here to share the secrets." But they're good, and everything's all good. Or is it? At the end, they go to that motherboard place where everyone turns to zombies, and there's that eye guy thing, and it was like, "How dare you betray me? You weren't even there. We serve Motherboard now." It's like, Motherboard? This is the place, I'm destroying it. But then there's a shield, and then Motherboard transforms from a robot bird to a ladybird, and then injects Skeletor with these things to turn him into like a board creature. And then they showed the scene, and it's like the Horde symbol. Yeah, so I guess in next season, Hordak's gonna appear. I wonder if She-Ra's gonna appear. I mean, obviously it's not gonna be the same She-Ra from the Princesses of Power, the other Netflix series. I kind of like that series, but yeah, it's gonna be a different She-Ra. And hopefully they don't kill off She-Ra, then replace her with Bo or anything that would upset a lot of fans. But yeah, I can't wait to see what happens in season 2. Hordak might appear, and this might be a lot of fun. Well, that's my review or recap or anything about Hordak. What's my review? I thought it was awesome. I like the animation, the characters. You do see a lot of He-Man. There's like a cool thing at the end where you fight and where He-Man fights, and like, yeah. So you do get to see a lot of He-Man, and you do see Prince Adam. But hey, it's better than just killing him off. But you do see Prince Adam, and I do wish, because it has 5 episodes. I kind of wish it has more. But hey, I'm excited for season 2. Maybe they'll do more He-Man. And She-Ra might appear. Maybe they'll get a She-Ra show called Princesses of Power Revelations. Maybe that's what it will be called. Well, this made me feel like a He-Man fan, even someone who never grew up with He-Man. Well, I'm really glad to like this show. I like how they did the characters. I love Skeletor, how funny they made him. Like, he's threatening and scary, but he also has some funny, weird moments. Like, and he just says some funny things, and that big powerful version of Skeletor was like, whoa. And Eva Lynn was a good villain for a time, and I do like the characters arcs they went through, and He-Man was awesome, and Teela and Cringer and Wildcat. And it was a great show. This show made me feel like a fan. I was happy to watch it. Also, I don't know if I showed you guys in my last video when I reviewed He-Man, but when I was getting Trapjaw, they come with these. So I have a little Castle Grayskull here, and you can open it, and and you can open it, and that's where Trapjaw was in. But yeah, so I do have a little bit of Castle Grayskull there figures. Well, that's my review on Masters of the Universe Revelations Part 2. It was really awesome, and I was really excited to watch the show. And I hope you enjoy my review, and hopefully you'll see some new videos. I can't wait to see Spider-Man No Way Home sooner or later, and have a nice time.